Football is back. The NFL and the New York Jets would like to thank the fans. 85 long-tenured Jets fans were selected to run out of the team tunnel, receive a special memento from the New York Jets. Weather tonight, wet, very wet throughout the evening. Right now, let's bring in the third member of our broadcast team. It's Otis Livingston standing by live with Jets head coach Rex Ryan. Otis.
All right, Ian. Well, Rex, this is the highly anticipated debut of Plexico Burress. What are you expecting to see out of him tonight, and how long will he play?
We'll probably get into the second quarter, with our entire starting offense and defense. So, I expect to, see some big things from him. I mean, shoot, he's been doing a great job in the practice field. Now let's take it to the game field.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck tonight. Ian, back to you.
All right, Otis, Coach Ryan, thank you for Plexico Burress. It's been a long wait. Served 22 months in prison for a weapons violation. The Jets, before he began serving that sentence, actually went to visit him, their general manager Mike Tannenbaum and owner Woody Johnson. And there's no doubt that when Plexico was starting to make a decision on which team he was going to join, money, big part of it, 1 year, $3 million deal, and the fact that the Jets did plant the seed and show interest before he began to serve the sentence.
Without a question. And was Mike Tannenbaum doing something special? No. According to him, no. That's what his job is.
Yeah.
I have a fiduciary responsibility to go out and look at any player that can help the New York Jets win.
The Jets won the toss. They have deferred, so Nick Folk will kick it off. Quan Cosby and Jameer Holland, the deep man. This will be Holland on the return for Cincinnati. Up the middle. Holland able to break one tackle, and a flag comes down. So Nick Folk making his way downfield to make the play on special teams. And our referee tonight is the veteran Scott Green.
Holding. Receiving team, number 51, during the return. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
And that's Dan Scuda called on the hold, so Cincinnati will be backed up on its first possession. The quarterback, Andy Dalton, rookie out of TCU, second-round pick, and with no Carson Palmer, it is Dalton's job to lose. Bruce Gradkowski, the veteran, is Dalton's backup, but Dalton is getting every opportunity to go out and win the job. Palmer requested a trade, did not get it. He has threatened to retire instead of playing for the Bengals. Handoff to Cedric Benson, and Benson moving the feet up to the 15-yard line, hit by Josh Maga, getting the start tonight for the Jets. Skill position players for Cincinnati, veteran offensive line, and a lot of anticipation for A.J. Green, the rookie out of Georgia, wide receiver, very talented player, first-round pick for the Bengals, and Dalton certainly will be looking for him quite a bit this season with no Ocho Cinco, traded to New England, and Terrell Owens was not re-signed by the Bengals. 2nd and 5 now for Cincinnati. Handoff, it's Benson again, and runs into a crowd, not much there. Able to carry the pile for a yard and a half. Martin Tevaseu making that stop, and Tevaseu getting the start tonight for Sione Boua. Boua sitting this one out with a left knee injury. We'll keep our eye on Muhammad Wilkerson, the rookie out of Temple. Linebackers, no Bart Scott tonight, and no Calvin Pace. So Maga and Westerman get the nod in the starting lineup. And in the secondary, this is a group that the Jets feel very good about. Re-signing Antonio Cromartie, Darrelle Revis, the best at his position in the NFL. Leonard and Eric Smith now the full-time starter. Flag down. Dalton throws too high. He was looking for Jerome Simpson, but he skied it over his head. And another penalty marker down. Punting unit is coming on for Cincinnati. We'll see if Scott Green agrees. Yes.
Illegal formation, offense, number 77, lined up in the backfield. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Penalty against Andrew Whitworth declined, and now it is Kevin Huber in his 3rd year out of Cincinnati. Jeremy Curley is deep. They have high hopes for Curley, the rookie out of TCU, to step in that special teams role. Low punt. Curley moves forward. Curley, little spin move and across midfield and into Cincinnati territory. The Jets will have excellent field position to open up. 40-yard punt, 9-yard return for Curley, the Texas native.
And Westerman loves Curley. He says, listen, if there's a new guy to come around, we like Curley instead of Brad Smith right now. That's what I got.
Mark Sanchez, they're looking for his next step in the development. 19-12 regular season record as a starting quarterback. 4-2 in the postseason. Expect to see the starting offense into the second quarter. Double tight end set to open things up. Dustin Keller and Matthew Mulligan. LaDainian Tomlinson in at running back for the injured Sean Green. Burris and Holmes, the receivers. Play fake. Sanchez throwing. It's caught inside the 30. They get Burris involved right away. Plexico Burris is back in the NFL. 20-yard hookup.
Simple right in the slot. Plexico Burris down line finds the hole in the seam. And of course, Mark Sanchez looking for his new guy. And boy, if that's happening all year long, folks, you have to look out.
His last game, November the 23rd, 2008, in Arizona as a member of the New York Giants. New set of downs for the Jets to work with. 3 receivers set. On a handoff, it's Tomlinson slicing his way to the 25-yard line. Tomlinson picks up 4. Starting lineup for the Jets. Change at the guard position. Brandon Moore is sitting this one out with a hip injury. So Vladimir Dukas gets the start at right guard. Burris, Connor, Tomlinson, Keller, and Holmes, the backs and receivers. No Derek Mason tonight. A knee injury suffered in practice on Friday. So Jeremy Curley getting an opportunity as the 3rd receiver. He's at the bottom of your screen. 4 receivers set, spread formation. 5 receivers set. Sanchez looking, popped up in the air, and he was trying to force it into Burris. Leon Hall, a good covered corner over there for Cincinnati. It'll be 3rd and 6 for New York. Defensively for the Cincinnati Bengals, up front they do have talent with Gathers and Johnson at the end positions. Linebackers, Ray Maluga coming off a bit of an off year in his 2nd year last year from USC, now in his 3rd year. Change at cornerback with Nate Clement stepping in. Jonathan Joseph signed with the Houston Texans. 3rd and 6. Sanchez getting the offense lined up. Holmes, the motion man, out of the gun. Had a quick throw. He was looking for Keller. He was turned around. The timing was off on that 3rd down play. Sanchez looking for his favorite target from last year, tight end Dustin Keller. And it's 4th down. Injuries a big part of the storyline this week. Sean Green out with an infection, skin infection, right foot. Mason we talked about. Moore we mentioned. Calvin Pace and Scott out defensively. So Nick Folk is on for a 43-yard field goal attempt. Last year, 30 of 39 for the Jets. It's on its way. No good. He pushed it off to the right. And the Jets come up empty. Jets coming off a 20-16 loss in Houston last week. No score here. The Jets wasted no time establishing Plexico Burris. First play from scrimmage, Sanchez hits Burris for a 1st down. We spoke with Burris earlier this week. He said, look, right now I'd say I'm about 90% physically, nothing that anyone would be able to see from watching me play, but that ankle is getting better. He tweaked it just as training camp began. Dalton throwing on 1st down, and it's intercepted. It bounced off A.J. Green into the hands of Eric Smith, and now Revis is there. Off the little pitch, Revis gets extra yardage, and the Jets are in business. Turnover, Cincinnati. Jets take advantage. And you got a new quarterback out there, and you take a look at him, and Andy Dalton, what does he do? He just throws it a little high, but should have been an interception. Should have been a reception, even though good smart move by Smith. Revis coming out. Simple stuff, folks. Tip pass. Practice that every single day in practice. That is a 29-yard return combined, Smith and Revis. Eric Smith, they've made it clear they want him to be the starter at that safety spot. Last year was Rodney Poole, and Smith would rotate in. 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. Fake the handoff. Sanchez throwing. It's caught for the touchdown. Santonio Holmes. So the Jets strike first. The interception by Smith, and it leads to points on the board for New York.
Yeah, and a good drive by the Jets. One play in the red zone, which has now changed the name to the money zone from what we talked about.
Brian Schottenheimer, offensive coordinator, made that clear to his offense that it is the money zone this year after struggling last year in the red zone. One play, 16 yards. It took 4 seconds. And Nick Folk. Now Nick Novak getting an opportunity with the extra point. So there is a battle at the kicking spot between Folk and Novak. And Antonio Holmes. The touchdown strike from Sanchez. The Jets with a 7-0 lead on Cincinnati. Check out the Ford scoring drive. Ford drive one. Well, one is the operative word. One play, 16 yards. Touchdown Sanchez to Holmes. Eric Smith the interception to get the Jets the ball back. And now Nick Novak kicking off to Cincinnati. Deep kick. Holland couldn't handle it initially, and now he's forced to take a knee. The change in the rule, moving it up 5 yards, is certainly going to change things on special teams in the return game this year. Sanchez with a touchdown pass, the Jets in front. New York Jets football on CBS 2 HD is sponsored by Nissan. Visit choosenissan.com or your local dealer. Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Official soft drink of the New York Jets. And by Ford. Drive one at your Tri-State Ford dealer. As the rain continues to come down here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, we welcome you back. The Jets and the Bengals. The Jets with a 7-0 lead, 11:37 mark of this first quarter. Cedric Benson, the single setback for Cincinnati. Dennis Rowland in as an extra offensive lineman. Benson fumbles the football. Jets had an opportunity to scoop it up. It was kicked around, sliding towards the sideline. And Wilkerson unable to get it before he was out of bounds. Opportunity there. And the Jets couldn't cash in. Teva Seyu defensively as well.
Why they call it football. You're kicking that ball around. It's so wet. Unbelievable. Wonderful play, but again, caused by the Bengals themselves.
So back it up. Cincinnati moving in the wrong direction here.
No, and I would think that, you know, during the rain, a lot of these players should know to really just fall on the ball. Don't try to pick it up.
12 men in the offensive huddle. Half the distance to the goal. Second down.
Yeah, it's going from bad to worse right now for Cincinnati. This is a Bengals team that lost 34-3 to Detroit last week.
How about a new offensive coordinator, Jay Gruden, that, you know, has got his hands full from a lockout, running a new offense, all rookies.
Jay has never been a position coach in the NFL, let alone a coordinator. Give is to Benson, trying to create some space and not much there. They'll pick up a yard. Patoi Tua, along with DeVito, combined to bring down Benson. Last year, defensively, the Jets ended up ranking 6th in points allowed, 3rd in yards allowed. You're looking at the sacks number.
I'm looking at the sacks because everybody complains the Jets don't get sacks. They were tied for 8th, which means they get a lot of petting in their face, telling them to get pressure.
That's Mike Pettin, defensive coordinator for the Jets. 3rd and 27 now. And they'll go conservative with Benson. Bengals will be forced to punt once again as Benson carries out near the 10-yard line. And Jamal Westerman getting the start for the injured Calvin Pace tonight in on that stop for New York.
You know, it must be very difficult for these teams that have new players, new coaches during the lockout. You can't do anything to teach them one bit about what your system is. Then you come out and there's no game plans here, folks. This is just buckle it up and let's see what you can do.
The punt from Hubert. It sails. It will go over the head of Jeremy Curley. Retreats to get it. Scoops it up at the 14. Curley. It'll stop and go out across the 20-yard line. And what looked to be excellent field position for the Jets flips over from Hubert. You talk about flipping field position. Kevin Huber, the Bengals, a 77-yard punt. And the Jets get the football back with a 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. Tomlinson in there with John Connor, the Terminator. Hand off, and Tomlinson gets blown up in the backfield by Reggie Nelson. a loss on the play. Mark Sanchez, how's he look so far?
I will tell you, right on, spot on. Plexico Burress right in the zone. Here again, they play a zone down inside the 20. Of course, $53 million in 5 years. That's between those two guys and Sanchez. It looks good so far.
Loss of 2 on first down. Tomlinson remains in the game on a 2nd and 12. Sanchez, protection holds up on the short toss. It is Curley getting involved in the offense. Little short route by Curley. Jets traded up to get him, took him in the 5th round, a high school quarterback, and they actually believe that he could be a factor in the Wildcat formation with Brad Smith signing with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Westerman loves him. I think that this is their replacement for Brad Smith, and yes, he can play in Wildcat, but don't rule out LaDainian Tomlinson in the Wildcat.
Curley, a big target of Andy Dalton's at TCU, the Bengals starting quarterback. Movement where the Bengals coaxed offsides.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And that's Dukas. That is the concern right now. Depth on the offensive line. Time for our Jet Spotlight, presented by Verizon, the official telecommunications provider of the New York Jets. Out of Hutto, Texas, his favorite meal, shrimp. And you'd be surprised to know he really is 5'9". Shrimp and 5'9". You see the connection? Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to like it, but
No.
that's nice.
You liked it, though.
I did.
On a gift for Tomlinson. Tomlinson had a lot of room to make up. And Dukas with a pretty good block there to help create a little bit of space. Well short of a first down. He picks up 6. And the Jets will punt.
And how about Tomlinson taking a pay cut just to stay here at the Jets to see if he can get into a Super Bowl.
The NFL MVP in 2006, T.J. Conley on to punt it. In his first year out of Idaho, they have high hopes for Conley. They allowed Steve Weatherford to sign with the New York Giants. Quan Cosby, the return man. Jets got down the field in a hurry, but could not stop Cosby. They slowed him down, and Cosby is cut down across the 25. A 53-yard punt by Conley, and Eric Smith making the play on special teams. Jets with a 7-0 lead on Cincy. In our sit-down with Plexico Burress, he said he could not be in a better environment. Everything has been 5-star. He said if you can't play for Rex Ryan, then you shouldn't be playing in the NFL. And it's contagious, the feeling around Jets camp. Win championships, that's the message when you walk inside the building. Another penalty. Work against Cincy.
Offense, number 83. 5-yard penalty. First down.
CBS 2 News at 5 is your eyes, your ears, your voice for news, weather, life, and style. Turn to 2 and see why it's the tri-state area's fastest growing 5 p.m. newscast. CBS 2 News at 5 with Maurice Dubois and Christine Johnson weekdays at 5. Kyle Wilson in the game for the Jets as an extra defensive back on a 1st and 15. Dalton working out of the shotgun for Cincinnati. High throw, and again Eric Smith got his hands on it.
Eric Smith, a guy that's just tough at the point of attack. Had a couple concussions. You know you're going to get hit by him, but I will tell you, Mike Pettin says he's come a long way, and certainly last year when Leonard went down, they depended on Smith to be the guy to communicate in the secondary. Looks like he's changed his habits of not talking and now talks to everybody.
Well, he's been named one of the captains of this team, signed a 3-year, $7.5 million deal. Colin Koshart, the tight end, was the intended receiver on that play on a 2nd and 15. And Dalton a little bit offline. Jordan Shipley was the target for the Bengals. So Dalton off to a rocky start. He's now 0 of 4 with an interception. And the Bengals facing a 3rd and 15, 7:29 to go in this first quarter.
Bengals have nothing but young guys at the wide receiver position. When you take a look at it, and you've got a young guy at quarterback, hasn't played in the NFL. New offensive coordinator Jay Gruden. Skilled positions appear skillless right now.
Bengals have 14 total yards of offense, 16 penalty yards. Dime package here for the Jets. Rodney Poole is in. Dalton to throw it. Dalton over the middle, and he threw it right to the Jets. Jim Leonard. Leonard with the INT. And hit from behind. He gets to the 10-yard line. Another Bengals turnover. 35-yard return for Leonard, back from injury and making plays for the Jets.
Dalton has the time. It's a three-step drop. He's got the right guy, but he forces the ball. He forces the ball, of course, overthrown it. Jim Leonard being in the position he is. Two safeties deep, just playing deep over the top. That's what happens when you're a young quarterback and you force the ball.
Andre Caldwell, the intended receiver, and the steep learning curve continues for rookie Andy Dalton. Call it a first and goal situation now in the red zone. Curley, third receiver. Sanchez looking for Burris. And it's broken up. Incomplete. Nate Clements over there defensively. And this is an area that the Jets want to take advantage of the huge target in Plexico Burris. They had major problems last year in the red zone.
Well, and that was a pass that was just getting forced by Sanchez. He had coverage on the outside. They're playing in and out on Burris for that position. You want to get him the ball, but it's got to get there sooner.
Second and goal for the Jets. Already leading 7-0 on Cincinnati. Three receiver set. Handoff. Tomlinson, nothing there. And Tomlinson gets smashed behind the line of scrimmage. So a loss on the play for Tomlinson. Jets trying to capitalize on the interception by veteran Jim Leonard. Now a third and goal. They are at the 12-yard line after the loss of 2.
You know, that's one of the issues. You go for it on first down, all of a sudden you miss the pass, and now it's 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11. Now the defense has the advantage. Right now they know you've got to throw the ball here unless you want to settle for a field goal.
Shotgun formation on a third and goal for New York. Long count here for Sanchez. Sanchez forced out of the pocket, trying to dump it off to Tomlinson, and it's incomplete. So the Jets go 3 and out. 3 and attempt the field goal in this case. And off the interception, could not convert for the touchdown. Nick Novak now on, getting an opportunity. Novak formerly with Washington, Arizona, and Kansas City. Kicked in NFL Europe and in the UFL in his 4th year for Maryland. This is a 30-yard attempt. And Novak knocks it through. The Jets take a 10-0 lead on the Bengals.
You know, Mark Sanchez in the money zone, which it's called now, not the red zone. There's a lot of pressure on Mark Sanchez to get the ball in the end zone. I don't think that today is a day that you need to take the pressure and say, I made mistakes. But today is where you've got to look at what your receivers are doing. His new receivers that really haven't played together against anybody in the red zone. Very difficult. You've got to find them, and you've got to throw it now. And I think when you take a look at, you have Plexico Burris and you've got Holmes in the red zone. That thing will come together, and then all of a sudden it's going to click. Next thing you know, Mark Sanchez, which everyone has looked at recently, he doesn't give the ball up in the red zone the way he used to.
We asked Brian Schottenheimer about Plexico Burris. He said, look, he's been extremely motivated, very knowledgeable, and the size matchup almost seems unfair. He just physically stands out in the crowd, and they tried to squeeze the ball in there on first down to no avail and no success. Nick Folk kicking it off, and Holland takes a knee for Cincinnati. We're going to see a lot of that this season around the NFL with the change. First play from scrimmage tonight for the Jets. Sanchez to Plexico Burris.
And this is just like playing toss and catch, and it's simple. He just sat down. It looked like they're playing man deep, man under, and there's a little confusion by the Cincinnati secondary, but playing man against others, and you're going to leave him alone. They're going to be completing a lot of passes to Plexico Burris.
They were 22nd in the NFL in passing last season. They expect to improve upon that. In fact, they made the changes during the offseason with the idea that that number would go way up. Handoff, Benson trying to get to the edge, and nothing there. Jets with lateral pursuit, led by David Harris. Signed that 4-year, $36 million deal to help anchor this Jets defense as the offense huddles up Harris and the defense, a very confident group. The one criticism, you touched on it earlier, at least from the outside looking in, will they generate enough of a pass rush without designing blitzes and throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the opposing quarterback?
And the answer to that probably is no. They're still going to have to do that. But a guy like David Harris, you can see it. He's blitzed many times, and he's very good at it. That defensive line is what makes it all go.
2nd and 12, and Dalton has his first completion. It's Jordan Shipley, second-year wideout from Texas. Kyle Wilson over there defensively. Right now, let's take a look at Buttle's blog presented by HP Invent. David Harris, the topic.
David Harris, he's understated. Well, you know what? He's been understated for a little while, but now he's underrated? Never. He's never underrated. He just puts up, and finally, is he paid? He's a playmaker with unbelievable upside. They gave it to him, and he deserves every cent he's making.
You try to come up with rhymes in the blog, right? I'm catching on to the trend.
I'm trying to be poetic.
It's good. It's good. Here's Dalton on 3rd and 5. Up in the air. And caught along the sideline, Jerome Simpson, but he was out of bounds. Could not get 2 feet in as Harris put a shot on Andy Dalton as he was releasing the football. And the Bengals will punt once again.
And once again, here you go. You've got Antonio Cromartie playing him. They're not playing very tight, but Dalton made a good pass there. He did everything but complete the pass. At least it wasn't thrown for an interception. He's got 2 already.
Huber punting. Curley standing to zone 25. And yet another penalty against Cincinnati.
50. Kicking team. False start. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
4 penalties, costing them 21 yards. Manny Lawson called on that one. And Mike Westhoff, the special teams guru for the New York Jets. He's got a belief in young Jeremy Curley, 22 years old. Rex Ryan described him as a gym rat, the way he approaches the game. Curley backpedals, makes one man miss, makes a second one miss for a moment, but then got closed in on special teams, and Curley able to accelerate out across the 30 for a 7-yard return, a 54-yard punt. In a world ruled by men, these two guys aren't exactly what the world had in mind. How to Be a Gentleman, Thursdays this fall, only CBS 2.
Don't know if I could star in that show, do you?
No. Maybe a cameo. We could get you a cameo. Walk-on role. Sanchez and the Jets' first-team offense remains on the field. Rex Ryan saying they should play into the second quarter, trying to get them as many reps as possible. Dustin Keller, Matthew Mulligan, double tight end set. Bootleg. Sanchez on the roll, makes the connection to Keller. And Dustin Keller, little spin move out near the 40-yard line. We asked Sanchez about Keller. He said, look, first 4 games last season, we were absolutely clicking, but then teams adjusted, and we know that. Teams respect him, and now we have to go out and figure out a way to generate some numbers for him, because he believes that Keller could be one of the best tight ends in the business.
Absolutely, and with the acquisition of Plexico Burress and now keeping Holmes, and you may even throw Curley in there, 3-man wide out, and Mason, you've got an opportunity where he's going to get one-on-one somewhere.
2nd and 4 on the quick toss, trying to get Holmes out in space, and the Bengals were ready for it. Leon Hall, excellent young corner, now in his 5th year from Michigan. Holmes didn't have the room to work.
Good read by Leon Hall. Wonderful play, you know. And look, listen, when you're going to throw quick outs all the time, you got to take a look at it. Defenses are going to be ready for it. You can't throw it against a certain defense.
Those two knew each other from the AFC North, with Pittsburgh, Holmes' former team, matching up against Cincinnati twice every year. 3rd and 2 now. Give is to Tomlinson. Needed 2, didn't get it. He was trying to burst out, but Ray Malaluga helped make sure that the Jets would not move the chains. And the Jets will now punt with 3:35 and counting left in this first quarter.
You know, sometimes, Ian, you take a look at it and you go, how are they running that play? Why did they run that play? Well, they're running plays to see how players do in the play. It's not necessarily just the game plan.
Off the punt, Chris Bryan getting an opportunity for the Jets. So we're seeing a rotation at the kicker position. We're seeing it at punter as well with T.J. Conley and Chris Bryant. That was a 38-yard punt for Bryant. He's in his second year, had a cup of coffee with Tampa Bay. He's an Aussie, having played Australian football. First came to the United States in 2008 and trying to make this Jets roster. Getting his first opportunity tonight, and hearing it from Mike Westhoff. Bengals take over with a 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. Rex Ryan told us, look, offensively, it's a matter of getting everybody on the same page. He believes there will be some bumps in the road initially, but he also thinks that Sanchez is really starting to become that coach on the field. Dalton on the toss for Benson. And Cedric Benson able to get back to the line of scrimmage and across it. Darrelle Revis there defensively.
Jet defense ready. Here's tip pass. Simple. And then what happens? Smith grabs it, laterals to Revis. A real good play on the tip. This is overthrown ball. One other time. The safeties are there. Let me tell you something. If the Jets defense is going to be real good this year, you will see Smith and Leonard getting a lot of picks, because that's going to be the difference in the Jets turning the ball over and making the other team pay for it.
Well, Revis mentioned how strong the communication has gotten between those four. He said he doesn't think there's been a blown coverage in training camp. A.J. Green making Revis miss. Got spun around, and boy, Green is a specimen at 6'4", 207 pounds. He's lanky. First-round pick out of Georgia. And Dalton able to complete that ball downfield.
That's not, how many times you see someone get a pass on Revis Island? And you know what? You wonder, is Revis Island really going to continue? And you look at Darrelle Revis and say, who's going to beat him? No one's really beaten this guy. And he's going to continue on. He's gotten better, and Cromartie has certainly improved from the offseason.
And Revis admitted to us last year was rocky with the contract and injuries hit. He came back a little bit sooner than he should have. Dalton dialing up the deep ball, and he was testing downfield. Andre Caldwell and Darrelle Revis. Revis said, I kept pushing Rex. I wanted to get back on the field, and finally Rex said, hey, let's go. And even by his own admission, he probably pushed it a little bit too hard with a hamstring.
Yeah, and you know what? Everybody that is not within the Jets football team sat around there and talked about it, whether it was on radio, TV, or anything. Don't come back early. Don't push anything. And what happens? He comes back a little early, wants to get on the field, and what do you think? Same thing happens. Everyone can sit there and say, I told you so. But Jets defense played pretty well last year.
2nd and 10, inside handoff. Benson gets slowed down initially, and then the Jets able to converge and bring him down at the 40-yard line. Eric Smith in on that stop. Revis, one of the captains of this Jets squad, didn't have any interceptions last season, but still the reputation as a lockdown corner. He is so valuable shutting down one side of the field. But the hamstring injury definitely took its toll in 2010.
You can't say how much he means to this football team, the way Rex Ryan plays that defense.
3rd and 10. Dalton's had a tough time so far in the first quarter. He's got protection. It holds up. Dalton throwing on the run, and a good strong throw out across midfield as he hits the veteran Bo Scaife. Former Tennessee Titan matched up with linebacker Josh Maga. It's a 12-yard pickup and a first down.
Yeah, and that's a tough job for Josh Maga, because you know what? He's got time to throw the ball. He moves, got good feet. And Maga's got to chase across the formation, and that's given the quarterback about 4 to 5 seconds to throw the ball. That's going to be tough for any linebacker to cover.
Andy Dalton out of Katy, Texas. Gets drafted by Cincinnati, but at the point of getting drafted, I don't know if he thought that Carson Palmer would not be a part of this team. Handoff for Benson, trying to bounce off a tackle. Thrown down, Patoi Tua. We asked Rex Ryan, who has stood out so far in training camp, and he looked us in the eye and said, Patoi Tua has been wrecking things in camp. He's a forgotten man because of the injury last year, torn Achilles in the preseason. And Ryan says that he believes Ropati Patoi Tua in his 3rd year at Washington State will be a factor this season.
Yeah, I mean, here's an Achilles tendon injury, and John Melody says to the coach, is Patui ready? He goes, oh yeah, get him out there. How about Leonard? Let's keep him on the full day.
That's the end of the first quarter.
End of the first quarter with the Jets in front, 10-0 on the Cincinnati Bengals. Second quarter action is coming up from the new Meadowlands Stadium. This is New York Jets football on CBS 2HD. Start of the second quarter with the Jets in front, 10-0 over Cincinnati. And back here in the broadcast booth, Ian Eagle along with Greg Buttle. One quarter of play complete. Pretty ugly for the Cincinnati Bengals. Pretty nasty weather as well. What'd you think of the Jets in the first quarter?
Well, I thought the Jets did a lot of things well, and of course they did some things badly. But of course, in these games, it's not about game plan. It's about what you do with the plays that are called.
So as we start out this second quarter, Cincinnati with a football in Jets territory on a 2nd and 9. Andy Dalton deep drop. Dalton setting up the screen and a lot of room to work with. Brian Leonard, the former Rutgers star, getting out to the clear and forced out of bounds. By far the best offensive play we've seen from the Bengals here today. 33 yards as we take a look at our first quarter stats presented by Toyota. Moving forward, they have just matched their entire total yardage from the first quarter on that one play. Dalton to Leonard right down the sideline. And now they have it at the Jets' 14-yard line. First down for Cincinnati. In the red zone for the first time, and Dalton, with that play clock winding down, wanted to talk it over and gather himself. 10-0 Jets. Jets fans dealing with the conditions here tonight. Rain expected to continue throughout this game. We're just underway in the second quarter. Jets lead 10-0. Andy Dalton started 1 of 7. Since then, he is 4 of his last 5 on pass attempts, including the one to Brian Leonard to set them up here. Dalton on a quick strike, trying to hit A.J. Green, and it's incomplete.
And this is good for Rex Ryan's defense, because last year they were not very good in the red zone. Simply put, when you take a look at the zone, they back up in a little zone. It was just a tip pass. It looked like tip pass at the line of scrimmage. But either way, here you got to catch those footballs no matter whether you're a Bengal or a Jet. You can't drop footballs no matter what it is.
Well, Revis said they played a lot of zone in the red zone last year. He doesn't think that'll be the case this year. He believes the defense will mix it up a bit more. 2nd and 10 now. Play clock winding down. Dalton throwing on the out route, able to make the completion to Shipley and then forced towards the sideline by Kyle Wilson. And there's a spotlight on Wilson. This was a young man out of Piscataway, New Jersey, Boise State, that the Jets had very high hopes for last year as a first-round pick, and just flat out lost his confidence at times last year. Darrelle Revis took him under his wing, brought him out to Phoenix during the offseason to try to work with him. They believe that Wilson will get that swagger back.
That's right. Confidence is tough to get. I mean, I lost my confidence at least for a couple minutes one year, but
was that on the broadcast or on the field? 3rd and 6. Dalton setting things up. Jets crowd the line. Here they come. Leonard on the blitz. The throw. It's caught by Shipley. He's got a first down. Kyle Wilson saved the touchdown, but Shipley able to haul it in. It'll be 1st and goal for the Bengals.
Good play. When you're blitzing 9, you better either get to the quarterback or close on the receiver. Kyle Wilson, of course, back there, comes up to make the tackle. Good. But you've got to know when you're blitzing those 9 guys, that is going to come out right now. So those are the plays that you've got to play the play kind of thing.
10-yard gain. Bengals trying to get on the board early stages second quarter. Handoff. It's Leonard barreling through. Did he get there? Bengals feel like he did. The officials trying to peel off the pile. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
That's always wondered. When a guy goes in a pile like that and he hits the pile. David Harris tries to fill the hole, and bing, gone back. Of course, a lot of times you get tripped up when you're in a scrum of mass proportion like that was. But good play by the Bengals. They did what they wanted to do. They got in the red zone. Dalton threw the ball well. The Jets got caught in a 9-man blitz, and bingo, touchdown.
And the former Jet, Mike Nugent, on for the extra point for Cincinnati.
The previous play is under review.
All scores can be reviewed. And really a question as to whether or not Leonard got in without a little bit of help. Was he down before he hit the goal line?
You know, that's always tough to tell. I mean, if the referee, the line judge, doesn't see him over. See, you can't possibly see the ball from anywhere. Even on a replay, you can see the ball. But if it's ruled a touchdown, how do you overturn it?
Yeah, very tough to see. Leonard ended up on his back. .13:02 mark of this second quarter. And this year, the officials manned with beepers just in case their wives are pregnant. No, that has nothing to do with it. It's to confirm whether or not on a review the play will be reversed or if it will be upheld. They're going back in time a little bit. I know you had a beeper in your day.
I was just looking at that and going, that's old technology.
It is. They can't text them? Just let them know?
That would be funny, right? They probably don't know how to text. He texts with one finger, you know what I'm saying?
Could be an old phone. So Scott Green took a look at it. Very tough to tell on any of the replays where exactly Leonard was with the football.
Reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Is going to be needed going into game number 4 to make your decisions. And as we usually find out from coaches, they pretty much know who they've got locked in unless somebody comes along to surprise you. And as we talked about at the outset of the broadcast, they will be looking everywhere on waiver wires and elsewhere for those that do get cut to improve their team along this way.
That's a great point. And you know, a lot of years you're right. They pretty much know who they're going to have, so then all of a sudden they make their moves. But as Marvin told us this morning, we're continuing to look on how to improve this squad.
John Griffin, the ball carrier, taking on tacklers. They will give him forward progress enough for a first down across the 30-yard line. And I'm not sure that there's a position group that's immune to looking for something extra that might improve this team. Certainly in the wide receiving core. You're certainly looking for, as we talked about, a returner that might be something special. Everybody's looking for a returner that might be something special.
Is there a Devin Hester out there?
They don't make a lot of those.
No.
And a nice throw from Lefevre to Hawkins, who gets up before he is tackled and takes it for a first down. 14-yard pickup.
I liked Hawkins on that play. He caught the football even though there was a defender around him. He knew he wasn't down yet. He got bounced back up and tried to gain some more yardage.
So move it out across the 45 as the clock continues to tick down to 6:30 to play. Griffin is met in the backfield. Kendrick Ellis was there at the bottom of the pile. They still have to pick fullback. And you have so many guys. We hear this cliche all the time during preseason. You can't make the tub, can't make the club in the tub, and they got a lot of guys in the tub right now. And Marvin was certainly frustrated after game 1 with that. I think he remains frustrated as another ball is dropped. Now Bone, one of the tight ends, trying to earn his spot. You can't do that in a game like this as well. Every opportunity you've got to secure. If you can't get guys healthy, you say, well, you know, if you can't play, I've got to pick the next best guy that is on the field.
Especially, again, we keep talking about it too, the situation with this season. No OTAs, you know, very limited things you can do in camp. Now all of a sudden you need the guys out there to see them as much as you can, and then if they're laid up and can't do anything, it's only hurting the individual player because they can't look at them.
Pressure again, ball loose. And it looked like Bart Johnson may have gotten down on it. I'll tell you, Aaron Maven has a little bit of hit left in him. So he wanted to show something he did tonight.
Excuse me, Brad. He sure did. He got around the corner there and just unloaded on Lefevre. He showed some speed coming around that blind side corner.
So brings up another 4th down, and Kevin Huber's foot's going to be sore. Another driving kick. Fair catch called for and made at the 11-yard line. And that's where the Jets will start again with 5:03 remaining and a 20-point lead. Another 47-yard kick from Kevin, sticking it inside the 20-yard line, which has always been his specialty. You just don't want him to get quite as much work as he's gotten this evening.
Exactly. Yep. You would like to see a few more drives, a few more scores. 7 points, not a whole lot.
Vinny Ray back at linebacker after being down on the field and walking off if they check that knee. A little bit of room across the 15-yard line. Gain of 6. Ray and Evans in on the stop.
But I think compared to last week, where it was very hard for us to find any positives from that first week, there's a few this week. And again, I was impressed with some of the play by both defense and offensive lines. I continue to be more and more impressed with Andy Dalton as a rookie quarterback. Just the poise and how quickly and how accurately he throws the football.
The first pick directly off the hands of A.J. Green. He had several drops tonight. David Pender in on the stop. Greg Krauske had Brashton Satelli read him on one of the picks that nearly went back for a touchdown. Third down and 1 with the ball at the 20. Jennings. Ruffin able to drop him, but not before he can move the chains. Gain of 3.
Well, they're getting a chance to look. One guy that we talked a lot about, Clint Bowling, playing both guards. Center position here late in the football game, and as far as I could tell,